Okay, now it is okay. Searching for freedom. Live with Tao. Birth anniversary of Chachaji Raghuber. If you are in search of the freedom, you have to know who is the one who has attained to freedom. Freedom, your definition of freedom is different. For you, the definition of freedom is freedom from this, freedom from that. You should be free to do things that you like to do. But in reality, freedom means freedom from attachments, from identities. We identify with so many things, this and that creates the problem. You are identified by a name, a form, the boundaries, your name, your form, name, form that a male or a female. Then it comes the nationality, the religion, your education, your status. All these things define you. They are the boundaries. An awakened one is the one who has tossed all attachments with the bodies aside. And he has realized that he is infinite, he is everywhere, all around. Sometimes this everywhereness is bounded. Like you have a house. In order to live, in order to do things, you take a part of the infinite space. A part of the infinite space. As you acquire a piece of land, on that, according to the plan, you start building a house. You divide these spaces into different, surrounded by different boundaries for different purposes. You cannot have the same space as bedroom 1, bedroom 2, or restroom, or laundry, or pantry, or attic, or basement, or kitchen, or living room, or patio, or garage. You have to give a definite definition. So too, in existence, at the beginning of the life, the infinite space is divided into certain boundaries that we know as manifestation. So, on this piece of land that you had acquired, different things, rooms started manifesting. This is bedroom 1 for you. This is bedroom 2. This is master bedroom. This is this. This is this. This is for the proper functioning of the house. Isn't it so? In the same way, in the existence, for proper functioning of the existence, and what is the functioning of the existence? Just as what is the proper functioning of the house? All the people who are living in the house, they have a comfortable place to live, because each one has to, because it has, life has been assumed. In order to live in life, you have to work, you have to live, and so many things has to be done. So in the realm of existence, God, He, different spaces that are part of the existence manifest as a particular name or form for identification. Just as you occupy a space, this has a certain time depending on the quality of the structure. Like when the churches, temples are built, they are built with an intention to last for thousands of years. So their construction is same, the process is same. No steel is used in the construction, because in the process steel may get rust, may get damaged, and the building can be damaged. So in the construction of that, stones are interlocked in such a way that the building remains firm and stationary, can bear the effect of the earthquake on the Richter scale. So it has to remain for a long time. So the master, when the existence, a certain space is bounded by a particular form or name, it is for a specific purpose, he is given a job to perform. In your office, there are different spaces occupied by different, the managers, managing directors, each has a role to perform. So these saints, mystics, masters, they are managers in the business of God. And God's business is transformation of human consciousness. Each is responsible for a certain part. One such was Raghuber, popularly came to be known as Chachaji. Born on 7th of October 1875, 2.5 years after the birth of his elder brother Ramchandra Lalaji, on 2nd of February 1873, to the parentage of Jai Devi as the mother. Both brothers Lalaji and Chachaji were born under a divine scheme. So for that, if a particular space is to be bounded for a specific reason, that the work that is being performed there, it's going to last for a long time for the benefit of humanity. Just as 79 years ago, in 1945, after the Second World War, in Bretton Woods place that is known as Bretton Woods Conference, where it was decided to help the war-devastated economies, and an organization was formed as United Nations organization with a specific purpose. So too a particular master is born with a certain purpose to perform certain role to perform in the process of the development of human consciousness. The Chachaji was one. For that, the arrangements are made in a different way. There was a UN Charter. UN Charter decided what are the objectives of this organization. So all these, the conference, the meetings take place before the organization finally comes into existence. In case of Lalaji and Chachaji, almost 100 years before the advent of the two brothers, it was Hazrat Abul Hasan Nasirabadi, the 33rd Naqshbandi Sheikh of Naqshbandi Mujaddadi wa Majhariya order, has made a prediction that I am seeing the lack of interest among the Muslims towards this spiritual treasure house, Nisbat. Two people from Hindu religion will come. They will be the true inheritors of this treasure. So do not hesitate, give it to them. He made this prediction to his chief Khalifa, Hazrat Ahmad Ali Khan, popularly known as Khalifa Sahab. He waited throughout his life. None came. Then, at the time of his leaving this finite realm, he mentioned to his chief disciple, Hazrat Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan, that maybe my master saw you in me. Not maybe. My master saw you in me through his Buddha cognition, and this prediction is for you. So this is one. Now this forecast is made, a charter is decided that two people will be born, but what kind of structure that has to be? If it is decided a temple will be built, so you are not making it for 1 day or 2 days or a tent temple. You are making a structure which will last for X amount of number of years. Minimum they do 1,000, 2,000 years. There are temples and churches which are older than that and is still firm and standing secure. So then this first stage, when the resolution was passed in the divine assembly that two people have to be brought onto the earth, the cosmic space will manifest as cosmic space, means consciousness, will manifest in abundant form as a human form as Lalaji and Chachaji, to be identified as the name, because there has to be something to define them. So then there is the next stage was the blanket wrapped mystic who appeared at the doorstep of Lalaji's mother Jaidevi and asked for some food. Jaidevi was pure vegetarian, Sanatani, so there was no question of the non-vegetarian dishes at the home. So she offered the vegetarian dishes to the sage, to the mystic, but he asked for fish. Fish is symbolic in many ways. Each new life evolves out of water. Fish grows into the water. So that is a different matter. Out of that, Lalaji, the two boys was born. The first on 2nd of February 1873, that who came to be known as the space, the consciousness that was encompassed and manifested through this form, came to be known as Lalaji or Ramchandra Raziyallah Ta'ala. The other space manifestation that came to be known as Raghuber Chachaji, born on 7th of October 1873. मेरी किस्मत में इतनी दौलत कहाँ थी? In my luck, there was not so much wealth, joy and prosperity. Thy remembrance, thy constant remembrance is my treasure, a precious treasure that I cherish each moment. Guard at each moment. Your remembrance, your memory is my precious gem that nourishes and nurtures my life, my being. In Chachaji was younger, 2.5 years, but from the very childhood, his brother Lalaji was his idol. He copies and will do the same thing the way he will do, his brother will do, and he has a great respect, and Lalaji had great love and affection for his younger brother. And he used to call him Nanne. Nanne means the minute, a smallest. So it happened Lalaji started going in the company of Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan, and on 19th years of his life he was initiated. When Chachaji came to know this, that Lalaji had been going to the company of a master and he has been initiated, he cried, he got angry. He told his sister-in-law, I had been copying and following my God, my love, my beloved, my elder brother, and he betrayed me. He went to the company of Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan without letting me know. He betrayed and he went on a hunger strike. When Lalaji's wife Jai Devi, Lalaji's mother's name was Durga Devi and his wife's name was, consort's name was Jai Devi. It was mentioned erroneously earlier. So she mentioned it to Lalaji that Nanne is very angry and he stopped eating food, and so when Lalaji came to know, he went and he told his master, Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan, that my younger brother Nanne is very upset. He had followed me all his life in everything that I do, and he also wants to come in your company. So the etiquette was you do not bring that person just without seeking the permission. So Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan said, bring him, let him come. So both brothers started coming in the company. Lalaji was a different, his way of life was different. Not jovial, serious kind of approach he had. Very Shaleen, this is said. The Chachaji, jovial, making jokes, frolicsome, that kind of approach he had towards life. They continued to go. The moment Lalaji come in the company, so there is a meditation session, and in that everything is taking place at in a different approach. And then the moment Chachaji comes in, he said, start the jokes. A different kind of a company, jovial, starts up. Just as the same thing used to happen in the company of Osho, the meditation session is going on, and then he had a person there, Sardarji, they're known as Sardarji, and he will start, when he comes in, the jokes will begin. Just as when you go to any function, first there is official speeches, introduction, this and that, and so everybody is seriously listening to everything. Thereafter comes the partying time. So the drinks are being served, the meals are served, so everybody is interacting with one another. Otherwise, before that, everybody was sitting in their space assigned to them, silently listening to everything. So that kind of a company, Lalaji, Chachaji, and that continued like that. And it happened, Chachaji was very much interested in wrestling, so he learned. They went to the place where you learn the wrestling. So he had a very strong built body of a wrestler. And then he had interest in music. So at the request of Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan, with the permission, Lalaji allowed him to go and learn tabla. So he went to learn tabla under the training of a person whose job was to teach the princes, but they were not interested in. And the king has hired that teacher to teach the princes. And he was not supposed to instruct anybody else. That was supposed to be a betrayal. But princes were not interested in, and because of interest in Chachaji, he taught him the inner rigors of tabla, the percussion instrument. And it happened, when king came to know that this happened, then he punished him. He said, you have to be put in a kind of a stadium where it has the people will be sitting all around, and It will have barricades, and you will be given your musical instrument, and a mad elephant will be released on you. And if you can control the mad elephant through the sound of your percussion instrument, the elephant will be given opportunity to make 3 attacks, and if he kills you, that's it. This was the way of the punishment at that time. So he said, the king asked, you have a wish. If you have any wish you ask for, it will be granted to you. He said, I agree with that. Along with me, allow my this disciple, Murid, Raghuber Dayal, to sit with me. The king said, he has not been punished, so he will stay outside the barricaded area, whereas the teacher will stay within. So Chachaji said that because it was in my hand and it was the trust of my teacher that he asked me to accompany him at that time, because of the love for the master, I started playing the tabla. And the sound that was coming from the percussion instrument being played by Chachaji was so intense that it encouraged the teacher also. Is playing the sound of tabla, the percussion instrument is coming, very intense. The frequency, the vibration was so strong. The mad elephant came running. As he was approaching the sound, his steps started getting. The movement became less and less. And then by the time he reached almost the teacher, the sound of the percussion instrument, my uncle used to bring out these sounds through his mouth. That's a tabla. With such a frequency, the elephant stopped, went back, came back again. 3 times it happened. He said, this is a spiritual wealth. It cannot be limited to anything. And he said, but as a punishment, you have to leave the kingdom and go elsewhere. And in place of that teacher, the king told Chachaji that you are appointed as the royal musician. You will be given that time in the 19th century 500 rupees as remuneration, a place to stay, and whenever you feel to play music, you play it for me. Then Chachaji and Lalaji, they never made any decision on their own. He said, our life is not ours. It has been dedicated to my master. He has to make the decisions for me. That was the love. And when Maulana Fazl Ahmad Khan heard it, in his own particular gesture, just as in English language, we said, oh, so gentlemen, you will play music now for them? And I allowed you to learn this art for me. And you want to go and play for the royalties. So he said it in his own language, Mya, Just as we say the word gentleman in Urdu language, it is said Mia, gentleman. Mia, अब आप राजाओं के लिए म्यूजिक बजाएंगे. Now you will play the music for the royalty, and I allowed you to learn this for me. After that, he never mentioned of this offer. It's only his son Brij Mohan Lal mentioned, and through that, through Onkar Nath, my uncle, I came to know about it. He never mentioned. He lived his life like that. And helping the people. One very important incident comes to my mind, which I want to share, and that is relevant. The moment disciple is ready, master appears. And because of the intense love that disciple has for the master, master appears beyond time and space for him. It happened. Chachaji was returning from attending. He used to visit different places, different cities, have the sessions there. So he was returning along with some of his disciples in a car, and along the way he expressed desire to have tea. So the driver and then the other, they stopped in front of a big restaurant, and he said, we can have tea here. The Chachaji said, no, not here. This place doesn't seem to be good. Then the vehicle was continuing to move. It reached in front of a dilapidated, very old shackles like a shop. He said, we stop here. We will have a tea here. So everybody surprised, tea here? He said, yes, we will have tea here. So he remained in the car, and he told the driver or the other person to go and get the cup of tea. When he went there, the man was very poor. He didn't have the proper equipment. He had a small cash pan where he used to keep the money. So the money the driver gave him in advance. He opened the cash pan and put the money inside. So driver saw, that was also a divine plan. A photograph of Chachaji was in his cash pan. So the driver asked, whose photograph is this? He said, this is the person that I have accepted him as my master. So driver asked, did you meet him? He said, no. I never had the opportunity to meet him. He said, I was saving my money to go and meet him. But it happened some people stole the money that I had saved. So I am again saving the money so that I can go and meet him. So knowing this, when the tea was made, the driver said, you go and offer this tea to the person who is sitting in the car. He said, the shopkeeper said, no, I will not go. If somebody steals my money, then I have been saving this money to pay for my passage to go and meet the master. And if somebody takes it, then what will happen? How long I'll be accumulating the money to go to accumulate and to find the passage? So the driver said, I will guard it, and if anybody steals, I'll give you that money. He goes there. And he carried the tea. The moment he saw the person, tears began to flow, voice choked, stuck dumb. Watching Chachaji sitting in the car. So Chachaji said, "Why are you crying? And wasn't it you who said, if I love my master, he should come to meet me? Didn't you wish that? And now I am there in front of you and you are crying." So did he do that? Did Chachaji do that? Existence does everything on behalf of the lover and beloved. The disciple is the one who was seeking, and his love was flowing towards his master whom he has never met. Somehow or the other, from wherever he got the photograph, maybe he would have, for whatever source, I don't know. I never had the first-hand opportunity to listen to it. Through my uncle and through my Buddha cognition, I envisioned this incident. And the same envision, the car parked outside. The man walks the tea not in a cup, a small clay bowls, offers the tea. As he comes and looks through the window to offer the tea to the person sitting in the car, wasn't expect. What was that moment? Is a delicate moment when he looks at him. Chachaji looks at him. The two eyes met one another, and a great communion happened. The energy flowed from the reservoir to the tea shopkeeper. What would have been that moment if you have experienced ever such moment in your life? You know that. You will experience what would have happened, what would have been the state of that shopkeeper, and what would have happened to him. Stuck dumb, voice choked, still, body almost still, unable to move. Then Chachaji said, "You will continue to hold." First he did not say anything, because that moment you allow the energy flow and being absorbed in the person. Then he said, "Would you keep the tea in your hand? You won't give it to me?" Yeah, I'll give it to you now." Does it not happen like that? That was the moment. That is where you are searching for freedom. That is where you toss all attachment for the body aside. Such was the life of the one. Consciousness that manifested in the form of Raghuber Dayal. 7th of October 1875, he was born and continued to share his insights and love in a simple and easy manner. On 7th of June 1947, that book that came from Divine Library returned. The consciousness that has assumed the form of Raghuber Dayal for the resurrection of humanity on 7th of October 1875 entered into its formless form on 7th of June 1947. Remembrance of the Master, their works. This is the way of celebrating the consciousness which assumed a form from a formless existence, lived life not the way we celebrate the birthday. I am celebrating the birth anniversary of the one Raghuber Dayal that was never born, never died. It simply manifested and visited this planet Earth between 7th of October 1875 until 7th of June 1947. This is how we celebrate the birth anniversary of those who are divine messengers, not the way. This is the way we should, but this is not the way we celebrate. We see things as we are. We do things according to our own consciousness, not the way it should be done. Enough for now.